All right, welcome back to the channel. So in this video, we're going to talk about Errol Spence Jr. and Manny Pacquiao and whether Errol Spence Jr. will be retiring Manny Pacquiao after this fight, and also what Errol Spence had to say about the Terence Crawford fight. So let's talk about those things in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. So Manny Pacquiao and Errol Spence Jr. are going to have a I think you could call it a crossroads fight with each other. That should be very, very big fight. It's going to take place, I do believe that the date is August 24th in Vegas. And according to Errol Spence Jr., he believes that this is going to be the last fight of Manny Pacquiao's career. Now, it's not sure whether he's saying that he believes that Manny's just old and, you know, he's not going to go through this training camp very many times, so this is his last hurrah type of fight, or whether he means that Errol Spence Jr. is going to beat him so bad that he's not going to come out and fight again. Knowing Errol Spence Jr., it's probably out of his mouth, it's probably the first option that Manny Pacquiao would be retiring. But knowing the actual scenario, there's a chance that it may be the second of the two. But first, Manny Pacquiao before we even get into it, Manny Pacquiao is somebody that deserves a lot of credit for taking this fight. This is a fight that I did not believe that Manny Pacquiao was going to take, because it's borderline suicidal for a guy in Manny Pacquiao's position to take a fight like this against Errol Spence Jr. First of all, the reason why he shouldn't be taking it is because the guy's 42 years old. I looked on BoxRec, I couldn't see his birth date there, but I'm pretty sure let's put it this way: his first professional fight was 26 years ago, in 1995. 26 years ago was his professional debut. I think that's when Errol Spence Jr. was like 4 years old. That tells you how long this guy has been in the sport of boxing. I know he's held titles in 4 different decades. In the 1990s was his first world title, to 2000 to 2009, 2010 to 2019, 2020. Boom, from 2020 he held the WBA regular title. So that is 4 separate decades that this man has been a champion, and that is a long time. And he is fighting at a weight class where the guys are a lot bigger than he. And this particular fight, though, is one that is particularly dangerous for him, because he's fighting a guy that is not somebody that he typically fights, right? He doesn't typically fight really big. Well, he did against Jeff Horn, and you see where that got him, right? But during his heyday, he was fighting guys who were a little bit drained at that weight class, or older fighters like Oscar De La Hoya, right? Or guys that had kind of been through it, like Miguel Cotto, right? And actually, Miguel Cotto was a 140-pounder who moved up to 147 pounds. So Manny Pacquiao wasn't fighting really big guys, and definitely not fighting guys that fight like Errol Spence Jr. fights. As Errol Spence Jr., in my assessment, is a special welterweight. So for you to do that at 40 years old, that tells you that, man, that is amazing. And it's going to be, on paper, it's his toughest fight since he fought Floyd Mayweather Jr. So to be at that age, 42 years old, he may be, like I said, he may be 43. I got to check his birth date, but still be willing to go in there and fight a guy as tough as Errol Spence Jr., that says a lot. Because even though some people are saying, well, Errol Spence hasn't had this knockout, he hadn't had knockout right in a while. Look, he's fighting the best fighters in the division. And that, you're not just going to run up and knock out people. So like you say, he didn't knock out Mikey Garcia. Who do you know that has ever knocked out Mikey Garcia? He didn't knock out Sean Porter. Who do you know that has knocked out Sean Porter, right? Who do you know that's knocked out Danny Garcia? And these guys have been in the ring and fought tough fighters, right? Sometimes when you get up there and you're fighting these bigger guys, you're these better guys, you're not going to get the knockout. But how many people have really pushed Errol Spence Jr. to where somebody thinks he didn't win the fight? Really didn't think it. And I'm not talking about just the groupie type haters that are going to hang on that Sean Porter fight because it was a tough fight and say, oh no, he lost. No, you just want them to lose, and they're going to hang on to anything to try to give them a loss. But nobody has really come close to beating Errol Spence Jr. So that says a whole lot, man. And it also says a lot about Manny Pacquiao, that Manny Pacquiao would pass the torch to Floyd, to Errol Spence Jr. like that from a publicity standpoint, because Floyd Mayweather Jr. was the top dog at 147 pounds. Well, he's the top dog in boxing total, and he never really did have a fight with a young guy, like especially not a young black fighter, where it seems like Floyd, this guy has a chance to beat Floyd, like Sean Porter did, like Keith Thurman did. What did Floyd Mayweather Jr. do? Floyd Mayweather Jr. fought guys with Spanish last names on Mexican holidays, and never gave that chance for all the attention that he had to be passed down to one of those fighters, and so them to get a fan base. And he didn't do it. But in this scenario, that's what Manny Pacquiao is doing for Errol Spence Jr. because this thing could be like an 800,000 pay-per-view type of situation. But as for what Errol Spence Jr. was saying about the retirement of Manny Pacquiao, look, this is, like I said, this is a no-joke type of fight for Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao is fighting a guy that is going to be bringing a lot of pressure and applying a lot of pressure, cutting off the ring. Errol Spence Jr. is one of the best fighters in the world at cutting off the ring. It's also a southpaw and southpaw matchup, so Manny Pacquiao has to change up his style. He can't like jump side left to right, jump in with that, jump in from that reverse angle and hit him with a straight lead, a lead left hand like he can to an orthodox fighter. He doesn't have that. He doesn't have that strategic advantage here. So, but the pressure of Errol Spence Jr., especially if Errol can make that jab to the body work and really can get inside and start trying to get close to Manny Pacquiao, which is interesting that Errol's that good at doing that with fighters that are that much smaller than him, because he did it with Sean Porter. But it really could relate to be in quite it can be the type of punishment that could end a career for a man that's already been through it like that. Now, after the fight though, what Errol Spence Jr. said is that after that fight, he's going to be looking for the Terence Crawford fight. If he can't get the Terence Crawford fight, then he's going to be moving up in weight. I don't know what moving up in weight means, whether that's 154 or whether that's 160, because I know he's got Jermell Charlo there, who he doesn't intend to fight. But there are belts that are open and available in the 160 weight class. So, but as far as Terence Crawford goes, who knows if he's expecting Terence Crawford to fight him right after this fight? I don't know, man. I just don't believe Terence Crawford's heart is really in trying to be the best at 147. I think he's just trying to get that contract out. I think he's got one more fight on it, and then we'll see what he does after that. But anyway, that's my take on the situation. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.